What do you say when Coach? I'm gonna take some questions after that.
I appreciate you guys being here. Glad to pull out that one. I just really disappointed in our first half, but for as disappointed as I was in the first half, I was really proud of their second half. Ball security is something that we talk about a lot, and to start that first half, we had 11 turnovers. Unacceptable. Looked undisciplined, kind of unorganized at times. Give credit to Lipscomb. They play a different style. They play 5 out, so it was hard for some of our bigs to match up on the perimeter. One of the best three-point shooting teams in the country. And so it was a little bit different. They transitioned to a 5 out, not your typical, first rim runner. But offensively, just was careless basketball. And, our girls practice so hard. Every day they just compete with energy and passion and grittiness. And so coming out in that first half, it just doesn't make sense to you as a coach that you practice so hard against each other and then you're not just going to bring that same kind of passion and energy and effort. And so I was really glad to see that they could flip that switch over at halftime. Walked in and they had some great stuff on the whiteboard, talking about things that they knew they needed to adjust. And so you always appreciate that as a coach when it's player led and they can kind of take some ownership and have some self-awareness. And so other than getting out my frustration, I didn't have to say much at halftime. They knew the adjustments that we needed to make. Felt like we got some big minutes from a couple different players. I thought DB obviously had big minutes for us. Really happy for her. She's worked really hard and has really made the most out of her minutes. I thought Naya had some good defensive possessions for us. I thought Avery played really hard, tried to create some energy out there. Scrhreacke obviously had some big minutes for us, and so wasn't pretty, but found a way, and I'm happy for the girls. We understand. I don't think it was a matter of trying to go on Christmas break early. I don't feel that way at all. We've got a group of girls that's very like-minded, that's worked really hard, and so game day, I don't know what the disconnect was. Maybe it's that we had a couple birthdays today and we lost our focus. I don't know what it was, but we'll be better, and we know we need to be better on Wednesday when we play a very good Oral Roberts team.
Can you talk a little bit more about that dynamic at halftime, the player-led thing that, just helped you guys flip the script and, run away in the second half?
I felt like both sides of the ball, we just weren't very good. I did think when we subbed 5 in, 5 out, I thought that group that came in kind of gave us a spark, which was great for them. But just collectively, we just were not competing at the level that we needed to. They knew it. We made sure they knew it, but they took some ownership of that, and I thought had some really good dialogue in that locker room. It's something that we've typically done. We think player-led is really important. And so over the years, we've had a locker room that typically, before the coaches come in and, try to make some adjustments, they talk through what they're seeing and feeling as players, which I think is really important. They're the ones out there on the court. And to be able to have that good dialogue is super important. And they're typically spot on with what they have. So player-led is really important to us, and I'm proud of them for that.
You had 5 different players finishing double figures, almost had 6. How much confidence does it give you going into, each game, knowing that there's so many different players that can just take over a game and lead the charge offensively?
Yeah, I would just, offensively, I think that's been one of our biggest challenges is that we have so many players that, to their credit, has worked really hard on their craft. So they're very confident in their one-on-one abilities. But the importance of, trusting the ball movement and trusting that it's going to come back to you is something that, I think we've had some hiccups on early in this season, and we're still adjusting to playing together. In years past, we maybe had, 3, maybe 4 players that could maybe create on their own or step up and kind of carry the load. And so we're fortunate with where we're at offensively and the depth that we have and the players that can do what they do. But I also think, we get stuck in mud a little bit. We stand around and watch versus the movement that we need to have offensively. We had some tough rotations. We didn't have a typical rotation. We went a little small ball, and so we're limited in the stuff that we had installed offensively. And so I felt like there was a little bit more standing in some of those possessions. But offensively, I think it's huge, and I think on any given night, you're right, we've got a number of players that can score the ball for us.
Delilah, you finally have a huge scoring night. What's it been like to have a night like this, especially now that you've taken kind of a role off the bench in your first year back?
Yeah, I think it just feels really good. I know, you just got to stay ready so you don't have to get ready. And, once I got the opportunity, just what I can do and what I've always been able to do just shows. And so it just feels really good to finally have that breakout game.
Coach, you talked earlier about Lipscomb's three-point shooting ability. They missed 13 of their last 15 threes. What defensive adjustments do you think you guys made, especially following them coming out how they did from shooting in the first quarter?
Yeah, again, it's a little bit different when they transition to a 5-out. We did that a lot last year, when Frankie played the 5 for us, and so we're familiar how hard that can be for teams to match up, and I think it really makes it hard on our bigs when they're not used to playing, against that style. Getting out, being able to guard on that 3-point line. I thought we had some soft contests in the first half, and I thought there was some in the second too, but I thought our communication, was much better in the second half. I thought we did a much better job not getting caught in no man's land, not over helping, and create those, where they play downhill. They did a good job with their Barclays, but I still felt like we allowed too many easy kick-out rhythm threes, especially in that first half. Did a much better job in the second half.
Abby, your coach talked about halftime in the player meeting. What stood out to you during that time?
I think going into the locker room, it's never quiet, and which is a good thing because when you're not playing a good first half, that's the last thing you want is for it to be silent and nobody's talking. But I mean, when we went in there, everybody was talking, trying to find solutions right away, and just working together before coach comes in to talk to us.
Abby, happy birthday, by the way.
Thanks.
So, first half, you don't play a lot of minutes, pick up a couple early fouls. What was your approach coming out in that second half to kind of lead to that offensive explosion?
Same thing as DB said, just got to stay ready. And just watching the game from the bench, you can learn a lot too. So I was always just paying attention to the patterns and rhythms and just being ready to go in.
For Abby and Delilah, what does that defensive effort look like for you guys? Struggled a bit in the first half, but then second half able to shut them down, especially from beyond the arc.
I think it starts with our effort after 50-50 balls, because I think in the first half there were so many times we could have been on the floor and we weren't. And whether we get those or not, I feel like it's still an energy changer. And in that second half, we force a lot of jump balls, and I think that really changes the momentum for us.
And once we get that momentum, it just changes our defense, and now our pressure and our intensity is a lot higher because we have that, we have that fire under us.
Coach, Grace finishes with 9 points in that third quarter, 4 of 4 and 1 of 1 beyond the arc. How does she kind of understand the moment, not trying to force it, but also being able to kind of implement her offense in a sense?
Yeah, I think, again, Grace is another one of our players offensively that's very talented. I think I've said this before, I think she's got elite level footwork. She can score on 3 levels. She's put a lot of time into her craft like the rest of them. They all have. They get in outside of what's required. They're very uncommon in that regard, and so not surprised. I think we're more surprised, when these guys miss their shots than when they make their shots, just because of the time and commitment they put into the sport.
We talked about the kind of slow start. Do you think having that week off, which you quite haven't had anything to do with that?
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about it tomorrow. We got after it pretty good this week. I don't know if we had heavy legs. How'd you guys feel out there? Did you feel heavy legged? Or
Feeling good.
maybe we can figure some things out right now. But yeah, I'm proud of the way we practiced. I really am. I think they did a good job taking care of their academics. We had Sunday, Monday, Tuesday off. They got in for Monday and Tuesday, all of them. To get a couple weight lifts in and get some individual work in, and really got after it. Thursday, Friday, Saturday was our lighter day, and so practice hard, competed hard, high energy. It's been a really good week, so I don't know, like right now I can put my thumb on the start of that game, but I know we're better than that, and we need to show up a little and pounce on people from the jump with our defense. Offense, you're going to make shots, you're going to miss shots. I'm not looking for perfection, but we've got to communicate through our screen action a heck of a lot better than what we did. We need to be first to the floor for the 50-50s. that's just the standard. That's, you know, the standard that they gotta hold themselves to, and they will. They will. We've been pretty solid out of the gates this year, and just a little bump in the road, and we'll be better because of it.
For Abbey and Tamilo, what does it look like from a player's perspective, especially having those couple days off after really go in that first month and a half?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like coming back from 3 days off, we felt pretty fresh, which was like relieving, but we also got right after it in long practices, and I think it was a good break for our mind to get our schoolwork done finals week, and then we were just, now all we can focus on is basketball.
And we had a great couple of days of practice after those days off, and so it was, you know, good to have fresh legs and just to relax our minds and focus on finals, and then switch it over and just be focused on basketball until we go home.
Take one or two more if anybody hasn't.
All right,
All right,
appreciate you
thanks,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Coach.